the varying seasons. 4 princes had heard about a red bud tree but not seen it. One day, the eldest prince went into the woods to see it. It was spring and the tree had no leaves or buds. The prince could not understand why it was called a red bud tree. Then, during spring, the next son went to see the tree. This time it was covered with red buds. Now, when the third son went to see the tree, it was covered with green leaves. Finally, the youngest prince went to see the red bud tree. By this time, it was covered with little bean pods. He excitedly told the other princes, "I have seen the red bud tree." The others shouted, "We too." Each explained what he saw. Now, they got confused because each had seen a different shade of the tree. The king, hearing this, explained to them, "You have seen the same tree, but at a different time of the year." The clever merchant and the whatnot tree. Once, a merchant was traveling with his caravan. They stopped near a village and camped for the night. Near their camp stood a tree which looked like a mango tree. The merchant saw the tree and said to his servants, "This tree does look like a mango tree, but it is a poisonous whatnot tree. Do not eat its fruit." Unfortunately, some of his servants ignored the warning out of hunger. They ate the fruit and died. The next day, some villagers came to the campsite expecting to see dead people, but they were in for a surprise as the merchant and his men were alive. They asked the merchant, "How it so happened that you are alive? Why did you not eat the fruit of this tree?" The merchant replied, "I noticed that the fruit of this tree had not been plucked by anyone. Thus, there was something wrong with them. They were not to be eaten." Everyone appreciated the merchant's wisdom. The mosquito and the foolish son. Once there was a carpenter. He was working hard. Now the carpenter was bald. A mosquito, seeing the shiny bald head of the carpenter, went and sat on his head. It started biting the carpenter's head. The carpenter got irritated and chased the mosquito away with his hand, but the mosquito came back. The carpenter again chased the mosquito with his hand. The mosquito went away, but was persistent. It kept coming again and again. The carpenter was finally very tired. He called out to his son, "Son, please get rid of this mosquito for me." The son was very obedient but foolish. He hit the mosquito with a stick. Though the mosquito flew away, yet the carpenter was wounded badly. The farmer and the gold. Once in a village, a rich man buried his gold in a field to keep it safe from thieves. Years passed by. the rich man died. One day, a poor farmer who owned the field was plowing it. While plowing, his plow hit something hard. At first, the farmer thought it to be a stone. But he was amazed to see a lump of gold there. He decided to carry the gold home at night, lest somebody should see him during the day. At night, the farmer tried to lift the gold, but it was too heavy. Then he tried to drag it, but it did not budge an inch. Then he sat down to think as to how to move the gold. He decided to break it into 4 parts. Then he could carry home one piece at a time. He did exactly that and carried the gold home easily. He lived a wealthy man. The king's grey hair. Long ago, people lived much longer than they do today. Once, a king was more than 1,000 years old. One day, he told the royal barber, "If you see any grey hair on my head, you must tell me immediately." The barber agreed. When the king was 1500 years old, the royal barber said, "I see one grey hair on your head." On hearing this, the king called his eldest son and made him the king. His ministers were surprised and asked him why he was retiring. The king held up the grey hair and said, "I have realized that this grey hair shows that death is approaching fast. I have wasted my precious life in seeking the pleasures of wealth and comfort. Now I will meditate and attain wisdom." He went into the forest and meditated hard. He became a great sage.
Thanks for watching. Do like, share, subscribe to Sahil Book House.